The fire next time. In these haunting words, James Baldwin encapsulates an urgent warning demanding action against deep-seated racial injustices plaguing America. His voice, a resounding anthem, urges us to heed his insights before it is too late. The 1960s were marked by the relentless struggle for civil rights. The civil rights movement surged, challenging systemic oppression that confined millions to second-class citizenship. Amid this turmoil, Baldwin emerged as a powerful voice, articulating the anger, pain, and hope of African Americans with unparalleled clarity. In The Fire Next Time, Baldwin recognized that the racial tensions of his time were intertwined with the American identity. The fabric of society was fraying, threatening to ignite into violence if the truth was not acknowledged. This dual narrative, a letter to his nephew and a manifesto, urged white Americans to confront the painful realities of racism. Baldwin's prose bridges generations through universal themes of love, identity, and the quest for justice. Born in 1924, Baldwin grew up under segregation, the son of a Baptist minister. His experiences in Harlem, coupled with the oppressive weight of racial discrimination, fueled his relentless drive for truth. Armed with a pen, he sought to illuminate societal injustices. Baldwin's writing features raw honesty. He confronts the duality of his identity as a black man and asserts, one is not born, but rather becomes, a man. This statement lies at the heart of Baldwin's philosophy: identity is shaped through struggle. It empowers his call for authentic dialogue about race, love, and the potential for reconciliation. Yet, he does not merely present despair, he offers hope. Baldwin argues that love must be the foundation for change. Love takes off the masks we fear we cannot live without, he writes, insisting that only through love can humanity transcend barriers. This duality illustrates that the fight for civil rights is not just political but a deeply personal journey toward understanding oneself and others. As tensions escalated in Baldwin's time, the threat of violence loomed. His words became prophetic, warning of an America teetering on the brink of destruction. If we do not confront our past, he cautioned, the fire next time will consume us all. Baldwin's urgency resonates today, illuminating the consequences of inaction and the perpetuation of systemic injustice. The very fabric of America is at stake, and Baldwin's clarion call rings louder than ever. Amid the civil rights movement, Baldwin found himself at a pivotal intersection of identity, art, and activism. His journey echoed the rhythms of a nation struggling to reconcile its past with a hopeful future. Baldwin became the voice of a generation, infusing his words with the pain of his experiences. His observations were urgent calls to confront unspoken truths. Baldwin's powerful prose erupted into public consciousness with works like Notes of a Native Son, published in 1955, where he meticulously dissects race and identity against the backdrop of his own turbulent family history. Growing up in Harlem, he witnessed the stark realities faced by his community. His father, an abusive figure, symbolized the struggles Baldwin faced, shaping his craft and channeling his anger into writing. The echoes of Harlem's streets, the sounds of jazz clubs, the sense of soul food resonated with his words, crafting a vibrant tapestry of life amid oppression. His essay, The Fire Next Time, published in 1963, examines the racial tensions roiling the nation, just a year after the historic March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, where Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his iconic I Have a Dream speech. Baldwin articulated the desperation of a people yearning for justice. He illuminated the psychological toll of racism, revealing how it dehumanizes its victims and erodes the souls of its perpetrators. By evoking fire, both destructive and renewing, Baldwin implores us to recognize the consequences of ignoring systemic issues. Unless America confronts its history, the metaphorical fire will scorch the land, a haunting reminder that history repeats itself when we fail to learn. In Baldwin's powerful rhetoric, we see a community galvanizing around civil rights, influenced by his work. He participated in marches, lending his voice to the call for justice. His involvement in the civil rights movement led him to head to Birmingham in 1963 during the intense protests and brutal crackdowns witnessed there. Images of fire hoses blasting water on marchers, the heavy presence of law enforcement, and the anguished faces of those who dared to stand up against oppression filled the air with a palpable tension. As he stood amidst the chaos, Baldwin felt the fear and courage intertwine, noting how everyday people marched under the looming threat of violence, understanding that their struggles were not simply personal but part of a larger narrative of freedom. Baldwin became a cultural ambassador, bringing the plight of African Americans to the forefront of national conversations. His travels to Europe enriched his understanding, solidifying his role as a global thinker. In Paris, he encountered other expatriates, artists, writers, thinkers who influenced his worldview. The vibrant cafés of Saint-Germain-des-Prés became a backdrop for Baldwin's reflections on race and identity amid a European context. Here, Baldwin grappled with themes of love, urging authentic dialogue about race. His encounters with figures like Richard Wright and other intellectuals forced him to confront the complexities of both his identity and the broader societal issues he sought to address. Baldwin's brilliance lay in weaving personal narratives with broader social critiques. He constructed poignant stories that spoke directly to the heart of racial injustice in America during the Civil Rights Movement. His youth in Harlem echoed with oppression and resilience. Amid the love and turmoil of his family life, Baldwin's understanding of pain transformed into his writing. He often reflected on the deep bonds of kinship and community within his neighborhood, emphasizing the strength that could emerge from vulnerability. The vivid imagery of Harlem, a neighborhood thriving with culture, yet shadowed by discrimination, permeated his work, reflecting the duality of joy and despair. Addressing his nephew in A Letter to My Nephew, Baldwin challenged him to recognize the weight of history while embracing change. He wrote, "It is your responsibility to create your own path, understanding the past is inescapable." His words resonated deeply, encouraging a generation to forge ahead with courage. The metaphor of the torch being passed between generations became a central theme, emphasizing the importance of understanding one's roots. In a letter filled with wisdom, Baldwin discussed the dangers of despair, urging his nephew to strive for a world where love could prevail over hatred. This powerful counsel reverberated through the years, inspiring countless individuals to engage with their histories and forge paths forward. Baldwin became a voice for the silenced, urging individuals to cultivate empathy. His meetings with figures like Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X exemplified diverse approaches within the civil rights movement. Baldwin's explorations of love in the face of hatred transformed the conversation about race from politics to a deeply personal struggle for dignity. In his discussions with King, he admired King's dedication to nonviolence, while maintaining his insistence that anger and rage were equally valid emotions in the fight for justice. Their dialogues reflected a deep mutual respect, but also the complexities of an evolving movement striving for freedom. Baldwin recognized that each approach, whether through peaceful protest or fiery rhetoric, came from a shared desire for justice. Baldwin's words carved pathways for activism and cultural change, uniting artists and activists under a common banner of justice. The literary arts, music, and emerging visual mediums became tools for expression, reflecting the discontent of a generation. He ignited awareness of individual complicity in oppression, urging personal transformation and community solidarity. The rhythms of jazz, the poetry of spoken word, and the evocative imagery of visual arts melded into a powerful movement that resonated across the nation. In Baldwin's urgency, he recognized America teetered on the brink of upheaval. "The future of this country is at stake," he declared, aware that unresolved racial tensions threatened chaos. His insight became a warning that, if ignored, could lead to devastation. Baldwin's message was clear: history watches, and true progress demands relentless confrontation with the past. Baldwin cast a stark portrait of a nation unwilling to reckon with its history. He implored readers to acknowledge their complicity in oppression, urging a shared reckoning. He challenged narratives that soothed white America, demanding a moral imperative to act. "If I am not for myself, who will be for me?" he asked, emphasizing the responsibility we all carry. This rallying cry underscored the necessity for collective efforts in dismantling injustice. He understood that until the truths of the past are confronted, the cycle of violence and oppression would persist. The urgency of Baldwin's prose written of America's moral crisis echoed the stakes. The fire he warned of could consume all, yet within it lay the potential for renewal. The bitterness of his insights was rooted in love, a profound love for humanity and an unwavering belief in change. He believed the struggle for equality would be fraught with challenges, but he remained hopeful that discontent could catalyze growth. Each despairing detail he captured within his writings served as both a mirror reflecting societal flaws and a light guiding readers toward a path of understanding and transformation. Baldwin's legacy transcends time, challenging us to confront the deep-seated issues plaguing our society. He urged us to see our individual struggles as part of a larger social fabric. Movements today, like Black Lives Matter, echo the truths Baldwin articulated. He understood silence as complicity, calling upon us to speak, act, and refuse ignorance. The rise of social media and digital platforms has created new avenues for voices that echo Baldwin's message, amplifying calls for justice in real time. As we witness the resurgence of protests and activism, Baldwin's words ring out, reminding us of the persistent struggle for equity. Baldwin coupled critiques with hope, envisioning a just future. His belief in love's transformative power transcends hatred. We have to confront ourselves, he stated, urging self-examination and the unearthing of biases. The power of introspection became a recurring theme in his work, emphasizing that understanding oneself is crucial in the fight for equality. His assertion that love must guide our actions remains an essential tenet of social justice movements. His legacy challenges us to think deeply about our role in advancing justice. Are we allies? Are we willing to confront our privileges to create an equitable society? In grappling with these questions, we honor Baldwin's commitment to truth and justice. The uncomfortable truths about systemic inequalities require courage to address, and Baldwin's work serves as a guide in this endeavor. Baldwin's voice grows more urgent, urging us to confront our realities and take decisive action. The fire he warned of need not bring destruction. It can illuminate paths toward understanding and justice if wielded with intention and love. Let us consider Baldwin's challenge: how do we confront the injustices that persist? Every act of kindness, every moment of courage contributes to the movement toward justice. Baldwin's prophetic insights continue to resonate today, reminding us that the struggle for justice is ongoing. As we reflect on Baldwin's legacy, we recognize the need for solidarity, understanding, and unity. The work is ongoing, and every act of resistance is a contribution to change. In concluding this reflection, we carry forth Baldwin's essential message: change is possible if we confront our realities together. Let the fire illuminate our path toward understanding and justice.